Brief history about Crowdsourcing Week and Bold for some of you who are new to our platform. Crowdsourcing Week has been around over 10 years, and now, besides doing conferences in over 30 countries and 4 continents, up until late 2019, our focus has shifted with our digital marketing services for crowdsourced platforms and solutions, staying true to our core mission by powering breakthroughs together. Bold is our annual innovation program that we launched together with H-Farm back in 2018. H-Farm is one of the most unique and one of the largest innovation campus in Europe and the world. With over 33 categories, this program is the Oscars of the digital industries. You can find out more on our website at bold-awards.com and submit your project or a company for our 5th edition of Bold Awards. First, I'd like to thank all of you, our speakers, for joining our Crowd Sessions virtual event. Is Elevate Software Quality, the real users crowd testing advantage. A little housekeeping before we get started here. Any questions you have, please put them on the chat section below. Clive Rafael from our team will be moderating all the questions and we'll be bringing them to each speaker after the presentation. Feel free to share your profiles and connect with others on the chat. We want to maximize some time, and please be mindful of promotion materials. At the end, feel free to stick around and chat with each other. We want to dedicate some good ample time for networking. So Elevate Software Quality, our theme for 2023 is creator economy, crowds, collaboration, communities, and connectors. Every year at Crowdsourcing Week, we bring topics that is on a trend that is where things are heading, all in relation to a Crowdsourcing Week. And this has been one of our main focus in terms of driving the content and driving the inspirations and the connections in a network that we've been creating globally since 2020. Since 2013. Now, also Bold Awards, as I mentioned early, this is our 5th edition, and with Bold Awards, we are bringing this global community, global network of the innovators from a large company to a smaller company and startups and so on. So check that out. It's bold-awards.com. This is our 5th edition, and we do this at this great, magnificent place at H-Farm, which H stands for Human Farm. All right, so let's get back to a crowdsourcing. A lot of the times, as I've been doing this for all over the world with crowdsourcing topic, every time I've been talking to the crowdsourcing, a lot of times I get the feedback, and the feedback is about either crowdfunding or crowd what. And obviously, this diagram helped us kind of shape the area in terms of where crowdsourcing can be, and also in relation to like what type of companies and activities are in each of these functions. This is a kind of an old diagram now. We are now about to update a new diagram as we speak. But basically, as you can see here, crowdsourcing, it's quite big, and it pretty much operates and it's integrated in many different systems. And that's the reason why we have today this great topic, because a lot of people, when they think about the software testing, they have no clue. There is a great component of crowdsourcing, which is a crowd testing, and we're going to bring some great speakers today for you. All right, so just a bit of history here before we get started. So if you look at the crowdsourcing world, how it happened, right? You look at this global recession that was first wave in 2007 to 2009, where the Airbnbs of the world, the freelancers and the Ubers of the world and Kickstarters came into the market and took advantage of this digital economy. And what we are seeing as we are moving forward, we're seeing now there are a lot more sophisticated platforms that are pretty much focusing on bringing people based on a purpose of alignment that they have, and bringing this kind of participation to a platform that brings a level of productivity that's never seen before. And today we have also something that we never had before in the first wave, and today that is called the AI tools. The automation, the algorithms will make a big difference here as we grow in the crowdsourcing space. So what I see as we're moving forward, we're now moving with this year and beyond in the world of the Internet of Skills, where now the skills are being activated in this worldwide web of internet in the crowdsourcing platforms itself. When you look at these software testings, right? You look at the software testing cost for companies, it's around about 45 billion per year. And this is about to grow by 2031. It will be about double of this number. So this is definitely, there's a lot of demand when it comes to software testing. How much of that of the crowd testing takes in this marketplace? I have no idea, but certainly we have some great speakers here today. They're going to share some great information for you. So stay tuned all the way to the end. All right. So last piece, and before we get started, so there's 5 advantages of crowd testing. Flexibility and scale is number 1. Cost optimization, coverage across a great number of devices, operating system, network combinations, discovering bugs sooner in the software development life cycle, so preventing that. And of course, a greater diversity of tester and location, which is priceless. And I'm sure a lot of our great speakers here will bring some great conversations here. So feel free to put any questions on the chat here. Again, Clive will be pulling all these questions. We'll be asking some at the end of each presenter, but also we'd like to open that to everyone at the end. And without further ado, let me invite Ran Racklin. Ran, are you here?
I am here.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very
good.
Good
To see you here.
Much. How are you?
Always great, always great. So Ran, welcome. I'm going to just tell about your background to the audience here, and we get started. So Ran is the co-founder CEO of Uber Testers. Ran has a massive global experience managing and leading new initiatives from inception to implementation and significant sales, as well as managing large global organizations in different countries. Ran is a speaker in several industry events and is known for his unique view of the quality assurance and testing world. So it's not Q&A that we're known for if you do that Q&A. His topic would be about the benefits of crowd testing for software quality assurance. Ran, let me know if you're able to share the screen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And let's get started.
Okay, let me make sure I can share my screen. Share. Just get this. And let me know if you can see my screen so I can start.
Fantastic. We can see your screen and you're all ready to go. Thank you for joining us. It's yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So first of all, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. I don't know where you are in the world. So for me, it's afternoon. I'm currently in beautiful south of Spain. So it's really amazing weather and I'm enjoying myself here a lot. So my name is Ron, as Epi said, and I'm the CEO of Uber Testers, a crowd testing company and we founded the company back in 2014, and I'll talk about the company at a later stage. But we've been here a while, and this is the reason why I can speak to you today about crowd testing and feel not embarrassed about that. So let's start with the introduction and talk about crowd testing. Epi, by the way, I did not know you're going to show the slide about the benefits. Then you just took away all the punch for my presentation, but hopefully I can elaborate a little bit more. So what is crowd testing? Let's talk about, let's make a short introduction and talk about crowd testing. So first of all, let's start with QA, with quality assurance. Why is quality assurance important in order to deliver a very high-end product? So QA, quality assurance, is the basis and the end result of a successful product development lifecycle. As you all know, a product starts from an idea, from a vision of an entrepreneur or a product owner, somebody who thinks about a great new product, and then they start scrambling something about the product, and eventually there is a product spec. So the QA is almost the final step of the development lifecycle, and QA ensures that the end product basically meets that product spec as planned by the designer, by the owner, or by anybody who worked on this product. It also makes sure that it meets the industry standards. And of course, quality assurance or QA needs to find defects and bugs to fix by the developers. So if we talk about QA basically ensures the overall success or successful delivery of the product or the software that you want to release to the market. When done correctly, when you do QA correctly, it's supposed to save you cost, and it's going to increase the user satisfaction, because a product that is well tested is going to make sure that your clients are happy with that product. So in essence, if I want to talk about QA in general, before I move to crowd testing, QA basically safeguards the integrity and the functionality of your product. In recent times, unfortunately, I see many companies that are reducing the cost. Once you see a certain downturn in the economy, you see that many companies are too fast to reduce the cost or to reduce the budgets of QA, and they trust the users to find the issues for them, which is completely wrong in my view. So if you are managing your company and if you have a product release soon, don't reduce your QA costs. And if you're thinking about reducing the in-house team, you should consider the crowd testing that I'm going to talk about in length in this presentation. So what is crowd testing? Let's first start with the dry definition. If you look at Wikipedia, you're going to see that crowd testing is leveraging a diverse distributed network of testers, hence the crowd, to test your software. This is basically the dry definition, but what is the concept? What is really the concept behind crowd testing? So crowd testing is just like Epi mentioned in the presentation. If you think about Uber for taxi drivers or Airbnb for flats, then crowd testing is the same for QA or beta testers. So we are using the collective power of the crowd, meaning a diverse group of testers in different geographies. So they can be in different locations. They're using their actual own devices. So you can get a variety of devices to test your product and different operating systems, because each user will have his own operating system. And of course, you can get different experiences, because different people will have different background, different experiences to perform testing on your digital product. So the essence is diversity of devices, of people, of locations, of operating systems to test in real-world environment, under real-world condition, to find real-world usability issues. And basically, as I'll speak about later on, you're also able to scale the testing up or down. You can use as many testers as you want for a short period of time, and then you can reduce it once you have no release or no new feature to test. So this is the concept behind it. What are the benefits? Of course, I'm going to talk about the benefits in length in this presentation, but let's just summarize the points. Again, I'm going back to almost the same slide as Epi showed before, but the benefits we will discuss are, of course, the diversity, devices, operating systems, locations, scales, team sizes. I'm going to talk about the flexibility of crowd testing, why it's much more flexible than using other type of testing, why it allows you faster time to market. It gives you better user experience as an outcome of crowd testing. And of course, the last point, which everybody want to talk about, is it's more affordable. It's cost effective. And I will show you why it's more affordable. So these are the benefits I'm going to discuss in length in this presentation. So let's start. After giving this all long introduction, let's talk about the benefits. So before I go to the benefits, sorry about that. Before I go to the benefits, there is a misconception in the market, and many people think that crowd testing is only about, let's put some people to do exploratory testing. Let's put some people to test your usability or functionality and maybe localization, because they can be anywhere in the world. Well, that's not true. There are many testing types that we can do and we can use by using crowd testing. I'm just going to give a few of them here in this slide. So you can use functional testing, usability, location, and localization. It's two different types of testing. If somebody wants me to elaborate on that, I'll be more than happy to. Compatibility testing. We can test on different screen sizes, different devices. We can test on mobile. We can test on web. We can test on different browsers. So there's a lot of compatibility issues that you want to test by using crowd testing. Interrupt testing, of course, payment testing, which is a big thing lately, and everybody wants to do payment testing. Regression testing, people did not think we can do regression or sanity testing with crowd testing. Yes, we can. Exploratory, test case execution, installation testing, mystery shopping testing, and much more. So you can see that we can do almost any type of testing using crowd testing. I just want to mention that the basic or the essence of crowd testing um, uh, was not automation, but it was anything that you can do without automation. So basically, what you cannot do with crowd testing is performance testing and load testing. For that, you have all those type of tools like JMeter and anything else, but the essence of testing is manual testing. So whatever a manual tester can do, we can do with crowd testing. We can also do automation, but it's not the basic. A lot of companies right now offer automation as part of the crowd testing offering, but it's an add-on service. It's not really the basics of manual testing done by real people under real life conditions. So as you can see, we can test anything, almost anything that you want by using crowd testing to replace your in-house team or in addition to your in-house team. So after talking about making the short introduction and talking about the type of testing, let's start talking about the benefits of crowd testing for software QA or software quality assurance. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is what everybody is talking about, the essence, the basic thing or the basic advantage that crowd testing gives you is a diverse testing environment. What do I mean by diverse testing environments? You can test with a diverse pool of testers with different demographics, interests, and skills. So you can get testers that love pets, that love music, that love sports, and you can test with people that are short, long, tall, live in a certain location, and they have different skill sets. Some of them can be very qualified QA people, professionals. Some of them can be students that can do user testing. So you can get a diverse pool of testers. Improve test coverage and accuracy. Of course, you can get you can test anything you want. I mean, you can test first of all, it's very accurate because if you test with only 3 or 4 people in house compared to testing with 30, 40, 50 people under real life conditions, of course, you can have a better test coverage and better accuracy of your testing. Scalability. Of course, you can have many more devices and many more operating systems, different versions of operating system to test across a wide variety of devices or platforms. So you can test in Android, you can test in iOS. There's a limitation to what you have in your lab or in-house offices or in-house office. So here you can get access to as many devices almost as you want. The last point here is, of course, about geography or geographical location and diversity. We can cover different locations and regions and get specific insights for those locations. For example, in Uber testers, we have testers in more than 130 countries. So almost any country you can think of, we can test for you, whether it's USA and Canada, of course, UK, Italy, Spain, but also in Ghana or in Singapore or in Japan. Anywhere you want in the world, we can test. So when we talk about diversity, let's think about real life example. Let's look at just to make a stronger point here. Let's look at a company from West Europe, UK or Spain that they have a vision for a new product and they want to launch a new product, and the target market is the North American market. So they launch a new app that is targeting North American market. They can test it in-house. I mean, let's say the product is ready, almost launch time, and they want to launch the product, and now they're at the testing phase. So this company, of course, can test it in the UK in their own lab, using the limited resources, 5, 6, 10 people if they're a larger company, or maybe they can use some stakeholders in the company. They can ask the marketing team or the development or the office people to test the product and give them some feedback. But they have limited resources, they have limited devices. How can they test the product that it's really working in New York, Chicago, Miami, and Florida and California? So crowd testing basically allows them to do that. So using crowd UK, Sweden, doesn't matter, Israel or Spain, and you want to launch your product in North America, crowd testing allows you to do that. So you can test under real life conditions with as many people as you want, with real users in that's the specific location you want to test, with any device you want, any operating system, any carrier. Or for example, if you need to test in a specific location, like a subway station, how do you know if your product will work in a subway station underground? How do you know if your product will work while driving? Crowd testing can actually provide you drivers in New York to test or to simulate a taxi driver and a passenger. So that's the only way to get things done in the right way. Another thing that is talking about diversity. So payment testing, which is a very hot topic lately. So there's companies that have actual physical location in more than 60, 70 countries. How can they make sure that this physical location actually works with their app? That people can come to that location in Ghana or Singapore or Argentina, and the payment method will actually work. So they need to test it with real people, real devices in Ghana, Argentina, or wherever. So this is something we do for those large P2P payment to payment or person to person payment companies. E-wallet payment methods, we have so many of them. People want to test it. Ride sharing company, you mentioned Epi, you mentioned Uber before. So all the app taxis, how can they test that people are actually can work together? Casino companies, online gambling. There's many examples of benefits that of companies that can use the benefits of the diversification here. Next benefit, second one, faster time to market. Today's competitive landscape, everybody knows today everything is done fast. You know, it's a very competitive landscape today, and the quicker time to market is very critical. You want to launch your product as fast as possible and beat your competition. So faster time to market is enabled by crowd testing, speed, ability to test software quickly and efficiently with quick turnaround time by using the on-demand community. Crowd testing that is on demand, you can increase your testing speed, you can scale up or down, and sometimes you can test your product in as little as 48 hours. From the time you talk to a project manager and explain what you need, in 48 hours you can get the results already. That's a very fast turnaround. Faster identification, resolution of bugs and issues. Again, you can find problems sooner. If you have 50 people looking at your product with 50 different devices, you'll find problems, issues, and bugs sooner, and you can fix them faster. So you can launch the product faster. So this is a critical thing in time to market. Because you have so many users in so many locations, so many of those UX, UI issues that are going to be found by the crowd that your internal team are unable to find, not because they don't know how to do it, just because it's math versus 2 or 3 people. And the last point here is improved time to market for software products, of course. So this is the end result. You know, the end result of crowd testing and faster time to market is basically faster testing from start to finish. Again, 48 hours, you can finish a cycle if it's a more simple cycle, but you know, and if it's more complicated that you need very specific people and devices, okay, up to 4 or 5 days, you can finish a test cycle from beginning to end, from start to finish, and you can launch the product fast and without compromising on quality. Basically, it's still going to be a quality product because many people tested it. Third benefit of crowd testing, your ability or improved, basically the improved and increased user experience and satisfaction. Many people tell me, why can't I use simulators and emulators? You know, I can do the same thing. There's companies offering emulators, simulators. I can get many devices in a device farm and I can test my product. This is not going to be good for the user experience and the user satisfaction. Remember, a device farm allows you, or they're very good for the early testing phases, just to find some critical bugs on the functionality. They're not good for uncovering user experience and to get the feedback that you need from your real users. So what's in this point? What is this user experience issue? So the first thing is the ability to test in real world condition. Again, crowd testing allows you to test under real life condition. You're going to use testers in New York, in Chicago, in Rome, or in London to test your product with real devices. So they can uncover those issues that won't surface without the testing of real users. Again, your internal team can never find those issues that the person in Miami can test while walking on the beach. Testing with real users, same point more or less. So it's not only about the real world condition, but also real users. They can give you the real feedback because crowd testing reflects on your real target market. Again, it's not your person, your lab guy, your QA person in-house or your product guy. This is real people from your target market that they can find real issues related to their engagement or adaptation process of your product. Improved identification and detection of critical bugs and issues that even in-house teams miss. Of course, this is obvious. Once you have 30, 40, 50 people looking at the product, they can find issues much faster and they can find bugs much faster. Things that, again, sometimes your in-house team won't find because they're used to the product. So things like unclear flows, the user doesn't really understand the flow of your product. It doesn't understand how to go to the next phase. There can be confusing interfaces. There can be a missing help content. There's a lot of things that real users can identify and can find that your in-house team or your lab team cannot find. Again, the same thing, improved user experience and customer satisfaction. And of course, unbiased tester. This is something that is very, very critical for crowd testing. Your team, whether you like it or not, they know your product, they spoke to the developer. So let's say your guy found a bug at a certain point, he gave it to the developer and he told him, yes, we'll fix it. He probably won't report it in the next test cycle. So the crowd has no internal biases. They don't care about your company. They don't care about your processes. They are here to find bugs and issues. So unbiased testers will find more bugs than your internal team, that's for sure.
Ran,
So if I want to...
just go ahead. We're about to wrap up if we can. We're over time in a bit, so.
You told me 25 minutes, I thought, but okay. So let's move to the next one. Of course, cost savings. This is the one of the things that everybody want to talk about. So, of course, cost savings compared to your in-house or traditional testing method and eliminate the need for in-house testing infrastructure. So it's significantly less expensive than hiring in-house team. Just think about the cost of 2 or 3 in-house QA team compared to the cost of crowd testing. I can assure you, and we can discuss it at a later point, I can assure you crowd testing is going to be much more affordable. You're able to scale your effort up and down as needed. You don't need to hire those 4 or 5 QA team. You can use crowd testing and you can test 1 month because you have a complete new version out there. And the second month, you just have a new feature. So you can, of course, scale it down. In essence, just because Epi is making me rush here, it's the cost effectiveness is clear. There is a major ROI savings. You can achieve the testing with a budget constraint. You know exactly what is your budget. It's a transparent pricing model for very accurate budgeting, and you get maximized value. Last point is increased innovation. Basically, by using the crowd testing, you can leverage the diverse perspective of people. You get global community to test your product, and you get feedback from people with different background and different culture, different experiences, and that they can identify new innovative solutions. You basically have like a focus group in your hand. Instead of talking to your in-house team only, you can get now the views of another 50, 60 people to give you some ideas about your product. So it's a basically outside-in approach that keeps you open to true needs of the users, and it makes you more innovative. Few words about Uber Tester. That's basically the 5 benefits. Few words about Uber Testers, founded in 2014. We're a crowd testing company, more than 80,000 testers around the world in more than 130 locations. Just a few things about us. Again, I don't want to go because Epi is rushing me here, but we have a lot of advantages. You can work with us on crowd testing. Excuse me?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to have you go on, but certainly we're over time. We only have 20 minutes allocated for this, so truly appreciate that. If you would like
So
to,
this is the last
uh,
slide with conclusion. I'm just recapping the advantages, and that's basically those are the advantages I spoke about.
great. So listen, I have some questions, and I'm sure Clive has some questions, and we will probably get some more questions. We'll have to leave this towards the end because we're running out of time. But truly, a great presentation. I like you emphasize a lot on the flexibility part of it and also diversity, and we're going to touch base on that at the end. So thank you, Rand. Great seeing you. Great presentation. Moving to the next one, we have Jeremy Aubert. He's a European manager at Unguess. Jeremy has a double degree in IT, business management, and a strong passion for innovation, solution to existing challenges. With over 15 years experience in large-scale IT and digital challenges, working for major IT companies and scale-ups, bringing solutions to international French and European corporations. His mission is to create a value and scalable impact for businesses and organizations by leveraging the power of combination of technology, people, and expertise. His presentation will be today about elevating QA, quality assurance, UX, user experience, and cybersecurity with crowd testing excellence. Jeremy, good seeing you. Welcome, and let me know if you're able to share the screen.
Well, I suppose. Can you see my screen, Epi?
Let's see here.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, you answer the question. Hello, everyone, and bonjour. I'm Jeremy, speaking from France for Unguess Europe, and I am pleased to do this presentation. Can you confirm me that the screen is okay, Epi? Yeah,
I think so. Can you guys see the screen? Anyone can put in chat?
Okay, so let's move on. So again, thanks, Rand, for this presentation also, because you had me presenting a lot of benefits of crowd testing, so I won't come back on all of this. But I would like to talk about what I consider and what at Unguess we consider not a nice to have anymore, but a must-have plugin tool, which is the crowd testing excellence, and how Unguess use it for the clients and the digital teams of our clients as a multi-plug, basically to elevate not only QA, neither just UX, but also cybersecurity. So we think that crowd testing can be leveraged for varied matters, and we are going to speak about it. So let's start with the day-to-day challenge. I would like to come back to the roots of why are we testing, and why we could use crowd testing, obviously. Let's use your imagination, right? So imagine you have you're building the digital product, an amazing idea. Let's say a super app to shop online. I don't know. Great. Well, imagine now you're the shopper, right? And you start shopping, and bam, the app starts crashing, or everything is smooth, but at the last time, the buy button does not appear, which is basically what happened to me on the Mango website lately. So what will you do in this case? If it's for an app, basically, I suppose you just let it go, right? And you get into the 84% who won't give the app another chance. Or if it's an e-commerce website, maybe you would just leave it away and go to the competitor, right? So obviously, bugs is an important challenge on the day, and I would like to picture it again. But imagine the app is working, the website is working, perfect, okay, but the purchasing journey becomes painful. Like there are too many steps, or you don't have time. The experience is not as expected, or there is a weird process when you put, the credit card credentials, for example, what also happened to me recently. Well, what would you do? Obviously, I suppose, like any other shopper, you just let it go and be part of the 70% of people abandoning their cart, right? And then there is a third topic, which is security. I mean, imagine the worst. It becomes a new trend topic on Twitter. like MGM Resorts recently, because you had a huge cyber attack or a leak of users' data, which basically were 10% of those last year. What could it cost to your brand? So, I mean, for me, it was important to come back to the roots because these are challenges important to get in mind, always to put or fit in the shopper shoes, user shoes. These are not news, obviously, and companies have taken steps. You may have taken steps within our dear attendees. And I don't know, maybe you have started to build teams to meet each challenge traditional way. That's the first step. Great. But today, technology is advancing and forcing us to transform and speed up. You just have to take the example of the AI, isn't it? So on top of that, markets are more mature those days. They are fluctuating, they are borderless, competitive. People are becoming more and more digitally demanding. Things are speeding up again. And also, you are implementing agility processes and so on. Question is, how to keep up the pace of continuous delivery of your products while respecting the three key factors of quality, experience, and security. And on top of that, obviously, without burning your costs, isn't it? So for NGS, that's where crowd testing is coming, at this solution, which used in a smart way can be a powerful, cost-effective, extensive weapon to industrialize the digitalization or in, let's say, a safe user-centric experience target. So at NGS, we are firmly convinced that crowd testing brings great power, but not only to testing or usability, but all aspects of the three key factors of success. And we have put all our innovation into meeting this ambition, which is basically a modern day need, we think. So modern day need, which is having efficient, again, scalable, fast, cost-effective resources available at any time for the benefit of your teams and your projects. So today, in our vision, with crowd testing excellence, I mean, Rand did a small list of all the possibilities earlier, but you can, in our vision, accelerate your functional tests, meet the new challenges of the accessibility we are more and more speaking about recently, take a new approach to automated testing, obtain your customer perception of your product, your markets, your competitors, and you can even also test the security and call on ethical hackers to track down your security flows, etc., etc. And as simple as a multi-plug. It's like at home. When you need a light, you just turn it on, and when you need another one, you switch on the other, right? Well, at NGS, we believe and aim that you can do the same for unleashing all the power of the crowd testing and for all the circle of the digital product success. Powers that you should be able to use at any time in your software development process. So to make it run more smoothly, scale the capacity of your teams, provide them with an effective tool for tackling each stage of the cycle fast, saving their time, even saving their mental health sometimes, also a recent subject. And the cherry on the cake is that you are doing everything securing and maximizing all your investment in development and marketing, because imagine your product is not working while you are doing a massive marketing campaign, right? So you need, having the crowd testing as a power tool is definitely something we need to keep in mind. But yes, we speak about the potential of crowd testing, but we make a difference between crowd testing and crowd testing excellence. it's like the perfect recipe. Or I'm French, so I'm speaking about cooking. But if you have the best ingredients, well mixed, you get the perfect crème brûlée, right? Well, in Unger's vision, there are 3 powerhouses for crowd testing to work effectively. That's funny because now I'm speaking about powerhouses. I have the image of Hogwarts houses, Gryffindor and so on. Well, in that case, we are not speaking about Hogwarts, but we are speaking Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, but technology, methodology with experts, and the crowd, obviously. So coming back on the 3 powerhouses of the crowd testing excellence, you have the technology. You need to have an innovative platform that engaged and manage the crowd, plus compiling all the information collected, obviously, in a clear, redundancy-free. That's really important to avoid duplicates in the reports, and in an efficient way. Plus, integrating all of that in your own tools and processes, right? So technology is a real important matter. Then you also need methodology and experts, so that you can have a fluid process of using the crowd testing solution, good advices on how to benefit from all the full power of crowd testing while optimizing your costs, also having the smartest way to use it, and real and test methodology also to ensure that the system works. It's really important. So to ensure that the communities are engaged and that quality emerges from quantity, right? And the third ingredient in that perfect recipe of crowd testing excellence is a crowd, obviously. So actionable communities of selected people on a global scale, because we are in a globalized world nowadays. And together with the 2 previous powerhouses, can be wisely engaged in a variety of ways in a win-win situation, like, and also for the brands to be the winners, because they will have the right people, the right audience at the right time, at scale when necessary, providing the right answers to the guesswork, and allows to take the right actions to reach the success target, right? So we have learned that at Unguess that if you put those 3 elements together, you have a brand new way of gathering useful information on any subject to speed up your reactions and reach even another level of internal and external success. And we are about to come back on the internal and external success. But just we speak about crowd testing power and so on, but I would like to give some concrete examples so you can picture it more easily, and how you can use crowd testing basically for the 3 key factors of success, right? So if we take the quality aspects, you can use crowd testing like Milestone did. So Milestone is behind the MotoGP and Hot Wheels games. So basically they use the crowd testing to perform multi-devices testing of the AI engine. So like Ryan said, you can use crowd testing to test your product with different kind of configuration of smartphone and tablet and so on. Well, here, more than 100 of configuration tested, more than 300 bugs uncovered, and just in a few days. So simple, efficient, thanks to the crowd testing. And that's just a small example, because you can also imagine to involve, I don't know, testers from Italy, France, Germany, US, Japan, for your e-commerce international rollout. Or also you can imagine to send testers in specific locations to test transportation services, or also you can also test a KYC platform, KYC system with passports from more than 50 countries, for example. So there are many examples that you can use a crowd testing for quality purposes, but you can also use crowd testing for experience purposes. I know the summary is behind us, but we can speak about Costa Cruises. Costa Cruises use the crowd testing to get insights from real users and matching a specific list of criteria. And so with crowd testing, again, few days, 20 hours of video received, pre-analyzed by UX researcher with the first click optimization report, all given to the team so they can act quickly and wisely to create memorable experiences. So this is an example, but you can also imagine to send testers in stores or do a study of your overall buying experience between in stores and online, or even use a panel of people to for machine learning purposes. Many examples you can do to use the crowd testing for experience. And at the end, also at Unguess, we think you can use the crowd testing for security purposes. Like for the Polymi Top Italian Business School, they use the crowd testing to identify to identify critical vulnerabilities, enrolling a whole group of ethical hackers. And surprisingly, it just took 1 hour and 5 minutes for a group of the ethical hackers to find the first critical vulnerability. And this is an example, but you can also have new innovative ways to perform the pen testing, for example, or launch also, thanks to the crowd testing for security, bug bounty programs like Amazon's or Google are doing every day. So big plus that helps you to uncover big security failures that can have huge impact on your business. So also really important thing to cover, isn't it? So the crowd testing innovation, it's like a multi-plug tool. It can help you to tackle many things, many specific challenges of the digital, which are basically really specific to the digital, like facing the technical challenge for developers of the diversity of smartphones and browsers, what is, in my opinion, also not well covered internally by internal teams. So you can go beyond using the crowd testing. You can also get the voice of the customer for UX experience purposes, reach different markets, do localized testing, as Ron said, and so on. Many kind of testing you can do, uncover security breaches. And so with the three powerhouses well combined to reach crowd testing excellence, at the end, you can get an all-in-one evolutive solution, powerful one, a must-have nowadays, in my opinion. In times everything is spinning up and going global, it's also the fastest way to get insights from your markets, users, and experts. It expands to scale up and down and relieves your capacities with full flexibility. And again, it saves time, guesswork, and mental health of in-house teams. And crowd testing can sometimes, as at Unguess, can be used as in a self-service by your teams for quick agent tasks using directly the platform, or you can delegate your challenges, obviously, to the crowd testing excellence triptych: technology, experts, methodology, and crowd, and let the experts unleash the power of the crowd testing excellence for you wisely, smartly, cost-wise, and all at your fingertips. So that's also something that could be interesting, at least that we do at Unguess. And I would like to also to come back on speaking about the budget. I mean, think about something. Beyond the fact that you can scale up and down your teams, so you can also save some costs here. It's a pay-per-use and commission-driven system. So obviously, when technology, experts, and crowd and methodology are mixed smartly, imagine how qualitative and cost-effective the solution can be. So as you can see, it's a smart extension to elevate your quality, experience, and also security, key factor of success with efficiency thanks to the crowd testing excellence. So what do you think? Let's be smart from the start and unleash the power of the crowd. I'm looking for your questions, your thoughts right now or by email. Feel free to send me any of your thoughts. And thank you very much.
Great, Jeremy, because we're running way out of time, we'll leave that for the end for the Q&A with the rest of the panel. And we'll jump with the next presenter. So appreciate that and thank you for your presentation. That was great. And I also have some great questions for you and also for Ran, so stick around. Anyway, so last here we have Andrew Matt, is VP International at Testbirds, where he has been instrumental for growth and further expansion in Benelux, the Nordics, UK and Ireland, and just recently Italy and France. With over 2 decades of experience in software sales and general management, he specializes in growing businesses. In his spare time, he enjoys being outdoors and pursues an active lifestyle. His talk today will be about optimizing customer journeys with customer crowds. Andrew, welcome. I see you're prepping your slides and you're all ready to go. All we need you turning on your video. And you're there? Perfect. Yeah, you're awesome.
Okay, so can you see me? Yes, you can. I see the light on
Perfect.
here. So welcome to the final session. I'm sure it's the one you've all been waiting for. My name is Andrew Matt, as Epi just introduced. I'm VP International here at Testbirds for over 7.5 years. By the way, Testbirds was launched in 2011, so we've been at the game for quite some time now. And today I will be talking about how to optimize customer journeys using custom crowds. So a great thanks to Ran and to Jeremy, because they both went into some really interesting elements of crowd testing. Ran introduced crowd testing, and Jeremy explained how Unguess looks at crowd testing. And you see that every crowd testing company has a different take, and they have one thing that they really specialize in. If you ask me what is it that Testbirds specializes in, it's taking those really bespoke, those really critical, those really difficult, complex client use cases and using the power of the crowd, the power of our own crowd, to help our clients get a solution or get an answer to their questions. Then we will swiftly move on. And I am struggling. Yes, there we go. So, as you're all joining this webinar organized by Crowdsourcing Week, I'm going to say that you understand the power of crowd testing, of crowdsourcing at least. And if you don't, please hit me up. More than happy to discuss that. Now, what about crowd testing? Again, as I said, I know that Ran just went through it quite extensively, so I think at this point everyone should understand what crowd testing is, because the principle doesn't vary much whether you're one provider of crowd testing services or whether you're the other. Now, the products that crowd testing companies test can also vary. At the Testbirds case, basically anything with a digital component, be it an app all the way to a connected car or motorbike, we can test. So today, though, I'm not going to tell you about how our crowd is one of the largest, etc., because at the end of the day, we know, and I think our clients also know, that it's not about the size of the crowd, but it's really about the quality and what you're able to do with that crowd that really matters. So what I'd rather talk to you about is about some really specific types of testers and their ability to work on some of the most complex client use cases. So our crowd testers are highly engaged. Among our crowd testers are your brand champions, as well as real users with an existing interest in your products. As existing users of your products, our crowd testers know exactly what they want from your products. Now, in some cases, that's what you're looking for. But in other cases, our clients are looking for exactly the opposite. They might be looking for clients that aren't engaged with their brand yet, and therefore are completely new to their propositions. Our crowd testers are highly experienced. Similar to the previous category, our clients can choose between super experienced testers, so testers that we have been working with for years, that have been part of our crowd for years, that have done hundreds of tests, or they can choose for testers that have just joined our platform and maybe aren't as experienced yet. Both, of course, can bring their own skill set and experience to the table, which is exactly what our clients would be looking for. Our crowd testers are highly enthusiastic, and I will show you some great examples of that on the next few slides. But basically, what drives our testers to come sign up to the platform is they are typically very engaged and very enthusiastic about seeing new developments, new apps, and we've seen some great examples of how people will actually go at length to make sure they can fulfill and help the clients in further developing their products. Especially when it comes to custom crowds, that is a really, really important factor, the enthusiasm of our crowd. Because sometimes you just need a very special and dedicated group of testers. This could be because our clients' target audience is not the ordinary one, or because our client wants to be able to keep coming back to the same testers for various reasons, right? It could be that you want the same testers to do a certain test over a period of time. It could be the case that you want them to partake in a large-scale test that lasts over a year, where on a regular basis you want to ask them certain questions about your product or about your services. So some of our clients might even want to build their own crowd testing community. But imagine this, right? They would need to get the software, they would need to hire the people, they would need to look for testers, they would need to keep those testers engaged, they would need to pay those testers. So in those cases, again, they typically come to us because we're the experts. We have done this on a large scale with multiple large clients. So that's where they typically end up coming, because we have a solution for that. So how do we do it? First, we start with identifying the specific custom target groups. So projects with specific customer target groups are discussed, and the required testers are determined together with the client. Those clients can choose from 65 different criteria, and based on that, we will do a pre-selection using our own crowd, our own platform first. It's going to come as no surprise that as testbirds, we call this platform the nest. Then next, sourcing and recruitment. Once we've identified those custom target groups, we will look for the right demographics directly on our platform and usually find the majority of our testers already. In the case that we can't find them because they are really specific, and suppose that's what this presentation is all about, then we do some specific recruitment. Recruitment we do via different channels. It could be anything from social media right down to calling people and finding those right demographics on, for example, fora and places where we know those people congregate typically. And then finally, we onboard those testers and we train them. Similar to what you've heard from the previous speakers, we also have a really high quality standard where we vet our testers. We first get them to do a test, and after they do the test, we give them feedback. The test helps us to understand how well they are at executing a test, but it also helps us to see the level of communication and what type of feedback they typically give. Okay, so let's look at a very exciting customer journey test that we've done for one of our clients. And this client is BMW Motorrad. Their relevant target group could not be recruited within our existing crowd. Well, that's what we thought initially, because we simply didn't have the criteria. Do you own a motorbike? And if so, is it a BMW motorbike, right? So first thing we did is we discussed with them how we could build a dedicated crowd for them. And then we recruited and onboarded this specific target group. We went on our own platform and we sent a bunch of surveys, and it turned out that we actually had quite a few testers who own BMW motorbikes all over the globe, because the client specifically wanted to see this in more than 40 countries. In addition to that, we did some email campaigns. We went to some Facebook groups. We went to some trade shows. We did some very specific campaigns with influencers, and we managed to grow a crowd of more than 600 testers all over the globe, as mentioned before, in more than 40 countries, which own a BMW motorbike and are connected to this motorbike using an app, the BMW app. So these crowd testers participated in customer journey tests all over the globe in real world conditions. And when we say crowd testing with BMW Motorrad, we actually are talking about real people getting on their motorbikes, using the connectivity app and giving feedback. Whilst doing this, of course, they enjoyed themselves. You know, they drive all over the country and are so keen to provide that feedback and give feedback on the errors, but also really important on the issues regarding the usability of the app, which in the case of a motorbike, you can imagine is quite crucial. So enhancing the user experience whilst looking for errors. One of these stories that I've heard from one of these testers, and I hear a lot of stories from more than the 1 million testers that we have across the globe, but one of the stories that really stuck with me is one of a crowd tester from Australia. Let's call him Jeff. And Jeff wanted to help BMW Motorrad to evaluate and test new digital prototypes. To do that, of course, not only for that, but he went out for a ride on his R1250 GS, for those of you who are into motorbikes, for more than 14,000 kilometers across Australia. That's pretty much across half of Australia. That's 8,700 miles. It took him 35 days to conduct that, to finish that journey, which is an average of 400 kilometers a day. Now, I think that's really, really impressive, and I think it shows perfectly how extensive new products at BMW Motorrad get tested and how dedicated the testers are. On the next slide, we will look at this case that brings, and I'm sure you're actually wondering, what does BMW Motorrad have in common with this client here, Dior? Because on the one hand, we're looking at motorbikes, and on the other hand, we're looking at haute couture. Well, what they have in common, of course, is quality, right? So in this case, this client, which is a global player and ships really nice, and you can see the example there, a handbag of more than 3,000 euros. That's only one of their products. Of course, their range goes way higher, but they ship these to clients all across the globe. And you can imagine if you live in, for example, in Dubai, and you live in a very exclusive apartment complex, and you order a lovely handbag from Dior, you kind of want it hand delivered at your door, and you don't want it thrown in front of your door in the hallway so everyone can see, oh, there's a nice box. That looks expensive. Maybe I should have a little look and see what's in it. Of course, the big challenge here was getting testers that have enough cash, enough credit on their credit cards to order these products, have them shipped to their address, then document this whole process to then ship back the product whilst giving feedback on how that whole process was. In this process, we also included the unboxing because it's a really important part of the customer journey, as you can imagine. If you buy a product from Dior, it needs to look in a certain way. You want the communication between Dior, but also the logistics supplier to be in a certain way, because you're not buying from Amazon where you think it's totally acceptable for them to throw it at your in front of your door and just ring the door and then walk away, which is what happens with me here in Amsterdam regularly. And what we saw here is that some really crazy examples again came up, and the client, of course, was really happy with the feedback they received. Because if you're a customer in Paris and you have to travel 30 minutes on the tube to return your parcel, that might be a bit difficult, and it might mean that the next time you're not going to be so keen to order this directly from Dior. You might look for alternatives. But also here we saw the same kind of dedication that we witnessed from a BMW crowd. testers were going above and beyond in the test, and like we're making movies, we're making films, sending them to us, although we didn't even require them to do that. We didn't ask them to do it, but they still did it. And that's what it takes to service and to help those clients that want these really, really specific demographics, and because it just matches their product. So, coming to a conclusion, because I'm trying to catch up a bit on the lost time, Epi, don't worry. I hope you had a great show of how crowd testing can work for even the most luxurious companies, and how testbirds can cater for very, very specific needs by building dedicated tester teams for these very specific clients. Of course, this doesn't mean that we can't help other clients, like the ones you've heard from my predecessors, from the people talking before me. We still cater for more than 400 clients, and with their very regular requirements. So I would like to thank you again. All your questions right at the Q&A. My name is Andrew Matt, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Andrew. This is great. I'd like to bring all the other speakers, Ran and Jeremy, on stage, and also Clive. Clive, we have some questions from the audience, or you have some questions. So let's just roll. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. That was really good hearing you talk about your different slants on the crowd testing. I'm just wondering, is there an average life expectancy for testers in your panels? Perhaps I can put that to you, Ran, first.
It differs. I mean, I don't have a calculation of life expectancy, but I have testers that have been with us for 6-7 years, and I have testers that just joined, a month ago, because we need something specific, a specific payment method in Germany. So, but I can tell you that the top VIP testers, a couple of thousands of them have been with us since 2017, 16. And still testing, and they're making a very nice amount of money per month. So it again, diversity can start from a month to 6 years, 7 years.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. And you're saying you've got some at the top, your VIP testers making a good income out of this. I wonder if I could ask you, Jeremy, what do you find are the strongest motivating factors that drive your testers in your Triber crowd? Is it the income, or they want to accelerate their experience, or maybe they're trying to get an in-house testing job somewhere, and that's why they want more experience? What are you finding, any patterns there? Oh, you're on mute, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, that's a tricky question. You're almost asking me to reveal the perfect ingredients we have to engage the community and keep them across years, as you just asked. So there are many things that you can use to have people on board, and that's basically a big challenge when you're a crowd testing player, is to because you have to, there are two things. You need quantity and quantity, quantity and quality, right? So you have to engage people. You have to make them, you have to be appealing for them to get on board on the system and be great participants. So there are many ways to do so. Obviously, the incomes, it's obviously something that is important because it's a commission-driven system. So that's always the first fact, but it's not the only one. Because you can see that there are testers that would be more willing to work for one or another crowd testing platform. And that comes from the magic of the crowd testing developers, basically.
Interesting.
Right. That was an issue I was going to get onto, as to whether for each of you require your testers to be exclusive in your crowd, or are there testers who maybe work with all three of you? what's the pattern that goes on in there? Andrew, have you got a view on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't expect our testers to be exclusive, and we know that a lot of our testers, work on multiple platforms, and we even would encourage it because it's good for the testers, it's good for the community, the crowd testing community. I mean, one of the things we've been quite instrumental at is the code of conduct for crowd workers, which we launched together with another few crowdsourced, crowd-based, crowd working companies. So for us, it's really important that they have the freedom to work across multiple platforms. In terms of your previous questions, I noticed something really interesting happening over the years, where we saw that some of our crowd testers put test birds on their LinkedIn. So when you actually look at LinkedIn and you look for test birds, you see a great number of people that say they work at test birds. So I know that some of our testers are also using it for their CV. They're also using it to kind of build up their profile to say, hey, I'm experienced at testing because I've worked at crowd test. I've actually crowd tested with test birds.
Yeah,
That's a great endorsement, then, isn't it?
It's brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. Of the now you're talking about the wanting to get the quantity, but also the quality of testers. Have any of you, have each of you got a figure of all the people who apply to be testers, what the proportion that are good enough to be accepted? Ran, have you got anything on that?
Yes. Well, we offer I think I mentioned it in my presentation. In our case, we offer two types of testing to our clients. We offer professional experience QAs, quality assurance people, and we also offer beta testers, people that have less QA skills and can offer you the user testing experience. So it's a little bit different type of testing. So what we do in our case is that any new tester who wants to join the platform will go through a certain certification process. They have to do a certain written exam and a practical exam in order to become a QA expert or QA testers for us. If they don't pass those exams, if they're unable to qualify and pass the exams in the right grade, at least 80 and up, then they can become beta testers. So as you can see, we have two types. So if some of the testers are able to go through the certification process, pass the exam, then they can become QA testers. So in terms of statistics, I believe that out of every 10 testers who register, 3 or 4 of them will qualify as QAs, and the other 5 or 6 will become beta testers.
Right. That sounds like almost building a career path for crowd testers. Yeah. Andrew, you mentioned a code of conduct in what you were just saying. As part of that, do testers have to give any kind of a guarantee that they're going to keep confidential what it is they're testing for your different clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the code of conduct does not cover that, because the code of conduct is more like an industry standard that we were part of, that we were very lucky to be part of, and to be happy to be founding that as well. That's more on how we treat the crowd workers, right? So they have the right to a decent pay and working conditions and the like. But it's very much the case indeed. Like you said, that it's sorry, I really lost the question there, Clive. I was ranting away there.
Yeah, it's about whether your testers have to give any kind of a guarantee that they'll keep things confidential.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we're covered by an NDA that we sign up with our testers as soon as they sign up to our platform. But then in addition to that, our clients, and I'm sure it's the same for Ran and Jeremy as well, our clients can also have an additional NDA. So then we're double NDA, right? So if, for example, on the BMW case, someone leaks something, okay, first they'll have test birds going after them. They'll say, I'm not that impressed because, who are test birds? but then they have the whole legal machine of BMW going after them as well. And that usually is enough for testers to go, okay, you know, I better keep this under wraps.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Jeremy, I mean, you all three of you have been talking about you ensure the high quality of the testers, but do you at Unguessed, do you employ any feedback loops to ensure that the initial work is finds all the bugs and what have you?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, I mean, for the clients, it's important to get the quality, right? Otherwise, it can get really messy when you have thousands of testers reporting a lot of information, and it's not qualitatively reported, right? So, I mean, there are ranking systems or many ways to, at the end, get sure that you get the right testers and also that they produce the perfect quality of report so your clients can have what they are expecting basically and work also efficiently. Is that answer?
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Epi, how are we doing for time?
Yes, well, I think we're way over time, so I would love to just give the final thoughts to this. First, this is really an eye opener for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, that they can take this in a very creative way of applying crowd testing. I also love the way how the also Andrew, you mentioned about Dior, for example, that very creative ways how the crowd tests came along in a very high-end level. So final thoughts, anyone, before we wrap up?
I would say that, yeah, I would say that the crowd testing is a really powerful weapon, as we spoke about. And what is to me really interesting, either for as a unguesser and also for my clients, is that it's a new brand way, innovative way to perform the daily challenges, right? I spoke a little bit about it, but the thing is, I mean, now everything is speeding up, and there are many things to handle at the same time. And crowd testing is a really powerful weapon, so you can tackle all of this at speed and at scale, taking also into consideration all these economics matters we have lately. So you can also have the right solution at the perfect cost to tackle your challenges, whatever they could be. So I would like to, people keep that in mind, obviously.
Fantastic. Andrew, Ran, anything?
It was a pleasure. I think crowd testing is amazing. We've been doing it for a while, as you know, almost 10 years. So I guess we're doing it well. And I think the market needs it. It's like I said, there's so many advantages to crowd testing. I believe I covered most of it in my presentation. So there's so many benefits. And if you really look at the ROI, return on investment, when compared to in-house teams, the numbers are significantly much better in favor of crowd testing. So hopefully many people will use the service.
Fantastic. Andrew?
But I think just to complete what you just said, Ran, is that people just have to try it, right? I mean, as soon as they give it a try, they will just see that how powerful the weapon could be. And also present with their internal teams. And without comparing that, I mean, it could be either an alternative to the in-house teams, what I would suggest more to relieve the mental health of people, but also as an extension of it. So that's also something we have to keep in mind.
Agreed.
At least what we think at Unguessed, right?
Andrew, there's one question for you that you can probably answer it. So there's someone asking how do you recruit the Dior testers and kept them engaged through the whole entire?
Yeah, that's very good question. And to be honest, when I heard the client wish, I thought that's going to be a really tricky one. Now, fortunately, because we also work with BMW, we actually work with Bentley even, we already had a kind of a client base, if you like, a tester base of people that are affluent and that can actually afford to just, order a 3-4K handbag. So we managed to tap into that a bit. And then also a lot through word of mouth. So a lot of, asking our crowd, hey, do you know someone who'd be willing to do this? And through that, we actually got a great few responses, because when people heard the actual name, they were all super keen to be part of it. And in this case, it was also really good because the testers paid for the products themselves and they had to ship it back. And would you believe that we even got testers saying, hey, why can't I keep this? And we're like, well, you paid for it, but in order to do the test properly, you need to go and bring it back. You need to return it so we can track that whole process as well.
Wow. Yeah, well, it also helps to have being a big brand like Dior, right?
It helps. And with some of those clients, we are also allowed to use their name when it comes to recruitment, right? So that, of course, always helps when the client says, yeah, sure, let's create a landing page using our brand.
This is really insightful. We're running out of time, so I'd like to thank every one of you for being part of this, and also for people who participated. Join us next on October 25th at 5 p.m. Central European Time, where we will be talking all about crowdfunding. It's a crowdfunding day, so look out for the events at the crowdsourcingweek.com/events page. Also, if you're interested in joining Bold Awards, just type yes in the chat below and our team will reach out to you directly. Thank you again for joining us. Hope to see you all next time. Have a great evening. And we always say, be bold. Thank you. Good night.
Be bold. Cheers.
Bye.